My name is Maxime. I am a Doberman, which my moms say means I am supposed to look serious. I try, I really do. I stand up tall when people walk by. I make my ears go up. I do the thing with my eyebrows that Mama June calls my business face. It never works. People take one look at me and they say, "Oh, he's a big baby," and then they put their hand out, and then I lick it, because what else was I supposed to do? It was right there. I am 74 pounds. I have been told this is a lot. I do not feel like it's a lot. I feel like it's a regular amount. Let me tell you some things about me. I love the mailman. I do not know why, but maybe it's because he waves excitingly every time he sees me. I love him. I am afraid of the vacuum, the hair dryer, the little dog 2 houses down who weighs the same as a sandwich, and the sound the toaster makes when the bread jumps out. I am not afraid of thunder. Thunder is fine. Thunder is just the sky being loud, and I understand being loud. I have 2 moms. Mama June smells like the garden. Mama Rose smells like coffee and the soft twigs she plays with at night. I love them more than I love food, and I love food very much. They call me the neighborhood protector. I am not sure what that means. I think it means I am in charge. I take it seriously. I check on everyone every day. The little dog Chihuahua my moms call them. The cat, the squirrel with the bread, the birds at the bird bath, though the birds do not really need me. This is the story of my week. It was, I think, a pretty good week. Welcome to the Portal Library. Step through and let the magic begin. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment if you'd love more stories or have a request. New videos uploaded every Friday. Maxime, the Neighborhood Protector, a short story. Chapter 1. The Window and the Mailman. The house was quiet again, and Maxime did not like it when the house was quiet. He sat by the front window, the big one in the living room, and rested his chin on the sill. His breath made a small cloud on the glass. Outside, a leaf skittered across the driveway, and for a moment he thought about barking at it, but leaves were not really worth barking at. Mama June had told him that once. She had said, "Baby, it's just a leaf," and scratched behind his ears, and he had decided right then that leaves were fine. His moms had been gone for a long time, maybe 12 minutes, maybe a whole year. Maxime was not good at time. He watched the street. He knew every car that belonged on this street. The red one that made a grumbling noise lived 4 houses down. The white truck with the ladder on top came on Tuesdays, except sometimes it came on other days, and that was confusing. The blue car with the scratched bumper belonged to the lady who walked the small white fluffy dog. Maxime liked that dog. The dog did not like Maxime, but Maxime was patient. A bird landed on the mailbox. Maxime lifted his head and the bird flew away, and he felt that familiar warm feeling in his chest that he got when he scared something on accident. He had not meant to. He never meant to. He was just big, and sometimes being big was the same as being scary, even when you were trying to be polite. He went back to watching. A long time passed, maybe another year. Then he heard it, the sound he had been waiting for without knowing he was waiting for it. The soft squeak of the little cart with the wheels and the jingle of keys and the footsteps that stopped at every house on the street. Maxime's tail started before the rest of him did. The mailman came into view at the corner, wearing his blue shorts and the hat that covered his eyes from the sun. Maxime stood up on the couch and put both paws on the window. He could not help it. He tried to help it, because Mama Rose had told him that paws on the window left smudges, but sometimes his body did things before his brain caught up. The mailman walked up the path. He looked at Maxime, and Maxime looked at the mailman, and the mailman smiled and waved. "Hey, big guy," the mailman said through the glass. Maxime's whole back end wagged. His tail hit the lamp. The lamp wobbled. Maxime did not notice the lamp. The mailman slid the envelopes into the slot and gave one last little wave, and then he was gone, moving on to the next house, and Maxime watched him go with the deep love of a dog who had just been seen. He flopped back down on the couch. He felt full. He felt important. Then the garage door rumbled, and his whole world changed. Maxime tore off the couch so fast that he skidded on the rug and had to scramble to get his feet back under him. He ran to the kitchen door and sat, and then stood, and then sat again, because he could not remember which one they liked better. His tail was a blur. His tongue was out. He could hear them now, the two voices he loved most in the world, talking about something he did not understand. The door opened. "There's my boy," Mama June said, and she got down on her knees right there in the doorway. And Maxime pushed his whole face into her neck and made a sound that was half a whimper and half a groan. "He acts like we've been gone a week," said Mama Rose, laughing, hanging her purse on the hook. "We were gone 2 hours, Maxie. 2 hours." Maxime did not care about 2 hours. 2 hours was forever. 2 hours was the length of a very bad dream. He pressed himself against Mama June's legs and then against Mama Rose's, just to make sure. Later, when dinner was eaten and the dishes were done, Mama Rose sat on the couch and got out the basket. Maxime knew the basket. The basket meant the skinny twigs were coming. He put his head on her lap and watched. The twigs were long and soft, one in each of her hands, and she made them click against each other in a rhythm that Maxime had tried very hard to understand. He had tried to play with the twigs once. He had picked one up and carried it very gently because he knew it was a Mama Rose precious thing, and he had brought it to her to throw. She had not thrown it. She had laughed and taken it back. He had tried again the next week, and the soft thread that came off the twig had wrapped around his tooth, and he had been embarrassed for a full hour. Now he just watched. The twigs clicked. Mama Rose hummed a song without any words. Mama June sat in the other chair with her book, and one of her feet rested on Maxime's back, and he could feel her toes move a little every few minutes as she turned the pages. Maxime closed his eyes. His moms were home. The mailman had waved. The house was not quiet. He was, he thought, the luckiest dog alive. Chapter 2. The Neighborhood Route. In the morning, after breakfast, and after the short walk where Mama June let him sniff everything, Maxime had work to do. The neighborhood was his. He was the protector, and he took the responsibility seriously. The first stop was the fence. On the other side of the fence lived Pickles. Pickles was a Chihuahua. Pickles weighed about as much as one of Maxime's paws, and Pickles hated Maxime with the pure, hot hatred of a creature who has never been afraid of anything in his life. Maxime loved Pickles. "You again," Pickles said, storming up to the fence. He had a bark that was too big for his body, and it came out all at once, sharp and angry, like a small person yelling at a bus. "I told you yesterday. I told you the day before. This is MY's side of the fence." "I know," said Maxime. "Then why are you here?" "I came to check on you." Pickles made a sound that was somewhere between a growl and a sneeze. "I do not need checking on." "You are very small," said Maxime gently, "and there are hawks. I will bite a hawk." "I know you will." Pickles paused. He looked up at Maxime through the fence slats with his bulging eyes, and he seemed to be deciding something. Then he turned in a quick circle and lay down in the grass, facing away. "You can stand there," Pickles said, "for a minute, but do not speak to me." Maxime stood there for a minute. Then he moved on. The second stop was the oak tree. The squirrel who lived in the oak tree was named something. Maxime did not know the squirrel's real name, because squirrels did not tell you their names, but Maxime had decided to call her something because she was always doing something. Today she was carrying a piece of bread that was bigger than her head. "Good morning," said Maxime. The squirrel froze halfway up the trunk. The bread was in her mouth, which made her words come out a little funny. "Not today," she said. "I am busy. Do you need help? I need you to leave. I could carry the bread." "Do not carry the bread." "Okay." The squirrel looked at him for a long second. Then she shook her head the way Mama June shook her head when Maxime tried to drink out of her coffee cup. "You are a strange animal," said the squirrel. "Thank you," said Maxime. The third stop was the bush by the blue house. 3 cats lived in the area, though only one of them ever came out to see him. Her name, Maxime had decided, was Lady because she carried herself like one. She was gray with a white chest, and she had exactly one ear that worked, and she was not afraid of anything. Lady was sitting on top of the bush when Maxime walked up. "Hello, Lady," said Maxime. "Dog," said Lady. "How are the kittens?" "There are no kittens. There were kittens last month. The kittens are grown. The kittens have houses now." "Oh!" Maxime sat down in front of the bush. Lady stared at him from above. She did not blink. Cats did not blink the way dogs blinked, and Maxime found it a little unnerving, but he did not say so because Lady was doing her best. "You worry too much, dog," said Lady. "I worry the right amount," said Maxime. "You worry about birds, you worry about squirrels, you worry about me. I have been a cat for 12 years. I do not need a dog to worry about me." Maxime thought about this. A leaf drifted down between them. He watched it land. "I know," he said finally, "but I like to." Lady made a small sound in her throat. It was not quite a purr. It was the cat version of rolling your eyes. Then she stood up, stretched, and walked away across the top of the bush like it was a sidewalk. Maxime watched her go. He did his last lap past the bird bath, where 3 sparrows were arguing about something, and then he turned toward home. The sun was higher now, and he was thirsty, and Mama June would be waiting at the door with the towel, because she always wiped his paws before he came inside. Behind him, he could hear Pickles starting up again at the fence, barking at a cloud or a mailbox or the idea of a cloud. The neighborhood was fine. Everyone was where they should be. Maxime went home. I hope you are enjoying this story so far. Let me know in the comments a story about your pet. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Chapter 3. The Bad Day on the Vet. Something was wrong with his stomach. Maxime did not know the word for what was wrong. There was no word in his head for the sick, heavy feeling that had started sometime in the night and was still there when the sun came up. He just knew that he did not want breakfast, and Maxime always wanted breakfast. Mama June noticed first. She always noticed first. "Baby, you didn't eat." She bent down and put a hand on his nose. Her hand was cool and soft. Maxime tried to wag his tail because he did not want her to worry, but his tail only moved a little, and that was worse than not wagging at all. Mama June's face changed. Maxime did not like when her face changed. "Rosie," she called, "come here a second." Mama Rose came in from the kitchen in her robe, holding her coffee cup. She looked at Maxime. She looked at the untouched food bowl. She put the coffee down. "Vet," she said. "Vet," Mama June replied. Maxime heard the word. He knew the word. The word was bad. He tried to look normal. He tried to stand up tall the way he did when he greeted the mailman, because maybe if he looked healthy they would forget the word. But his stomach hurt, and his legs felt slow, and Mama Rose was already getting his leash. The car ride was long. Maxime rode in the back with his head on Mama June's lap, and she kept stroking the soft place between his ears, and he could feel her heart beating faster than it should have been. That was the part he hated most. Not the sick feeling, not the car, not even the place they were going. The part he hated was how anxious his mom became. The building smelled like other dogs and like the stuff the vet used to clean the floor. Maxime had been here before. He remembered the front desk. He remembered the scale on the floor where they made him stand. He remembered the small room at the back where the door closed and the cold table was. He stepped onto the scale. He let them write down his number. He followed Mama Rose into the small room and sat down when she told him to sit. The vet came in. She was a kind woman with glasses and short hair, and she always smelled like a different dog, a new one every time, which Maxime found interesting. She knelt down in front of him. "Hey, handsome," she said. "What's going on with you today?" Maxime looked at her. He looked at Mama June. He looked at Mama Rose. He realized, very scared. He was scared of the cold table. He was scared of the thin, sharp thing she sometimes used. He was scared of the sound the machine made when she listened to his chest. He was scared of not knowing what was going to happen next, which was maybe the biggest fear of all. But Mama June's eyes were already shiny. Maxime had seen her eyes get shiny only a few times in his whole life, and every time had been a bad time. He did not want her eyes to be shiny. He did not want Mama Rose to have to rub her back the way she was starting to now. So Maxime did what he could do. He did not pull away when the vet lifted him onto the table. He did not bark. He did not try to run. When the thin, sharp thing went into his leg, he made one small whimper, quieter than a whisper, and Mama June leaned down and pressed her forehead against his. "I know, baby," she said. I know. He held still. The vet pressed on his belly and listened to his chest and looked in his ears, and Maxime watched the ceiling and counted the little holes in the tiles, which was a thing he had made up to do during vet visits. There were a lot of holes. He lost count around 40 and started again. "He's going to be okay," the vet said finally. "Just a mild stomach bug. I'll send you home with something for the nausea. Keep him on bland food for a couple of days. He should be back to normal by tomorrow." Mama June breathed out a long breath. Her shoulders dropped. Mama Rose laughed, a small tired laugh, and wiped under her eye with the back of her hand. "You hear that, Maxie?" Mama Rose said. "You're going to be fine." Maxime wagged his tail, just a little. It was the most he had in him. On the way out, the lady at the front desk gave him a biscuit. It was shaped like a bone, and it was hard, and it tasted like peanut butter, and Maxime ate it even though his stomach still hurt, because a treat was a treat, and refusing a treat would have been rude. At home, they put a soft blanket on the couch, the good blanket from the closet, and Mama June sat with him and rubbed his ears while Mama Rose made him plain rice with a little bit of chicken. He ate a few bites and slept. When he woke up, the light in the window was different, and Mama June was still there with her hand on his back, and the bad feeling in his stomach was smaller than it had been. He licked her wrist once to thank her. She smiled down at him, and her eyes were not shiny anymore. Chapter 4: The Playground. By Saturday, Maxime was himself again. He knew this because he woke up hungry, and he knew he was hungry because he was standing by his food bowl before he remembered walking over to it. Mama Rose was already in the kitchen, making coffee, and she looked down at him and smiled. "There he is," she said. "There's my guy." Mama June came in a minute later in her sneakers, the ones with the blue stripes, and Maxime's ears went up, because the sneakers with the blue stripes meant one thing. "You want to go to the park, Maxie?" Maxime did a full circle on the kitchen tile. "I'll take that as a yes." The park was only 3 blocks away, but it felt longer because Maxime stopped to sniff everything he had missed during the 2 days he had been inside. A new smell on the corner, a dropped French fry near the stop sign, the hydrant, which was a whole story he had to read carefully. His moms were patient. They were always patient. When they got to the park, he could already hear the kids. There were 4 of them today, the usual ones. Maxime did not know their names, but remembered each one of them. There was the tall one with the curly hair who always had gum. There was the small one with the loud laugh who ran faster than seemed fair. There was the quiet girl with the glasses who always brought something in her pocket for him, usually a dog biscuit, sometimes a piece of cheese. And there was the boy who could not say his R's yet, who called him Maxie Boy, which Maxime loved. "Maxie Boy." Maxime's tail went. He looked up at Mama June, and she unclipped the leash, and he took off. The curly-haired one had the tennis ball. That was the first thing Maxime needed to know in any situation, where the ball was, and today the ball was in the hand of the curly-haired one. Maxime ran a big loop around him, because running a loop was polite, and then he sat and he waited. The ball flew. Maxime flew. He caught it on the second bounce, which he was proud of, and he brought it back, and the whole group of kids cheered, and Maxime felt overjoyed. They played fetch for a long time. Then the small one got tired of fetch and went to the slide, and she called Maxime over, and Maxime went. The slide was a problem he had not solved. It was a big, shiny curve of metal, and the kids went down it with their arms in the air, laughing, and Maxime had watched them do this many times and had never understood it. He had tried once to go down. He had put his front paws at the top and looked at the bottom, and the bottom had seemed very far away, and he had backed off and pretended he had never wanted to go at all. Today was different. Today the small one was at the top waving at him. "Come on, Maxie, you can do it. I'll hold you." Maxime looked at Mama Rose, who was sitting on the bench. She was laughing already. She shook her head. "Don't make him do it if he doesn't want to, sweetie," she called. "He wants to." Maxime thought about it. He thought about it hard. Then he climbed the little steps, one at a time, his nails clicking on the metal, and the small one grabbed him around the middle. And before Maxime could decide if this was a good idea, they were going. The slide was fast. The slide was very fast. Maxime's ears went straight back. His tongue flopped out the side of his mouth. The small one was screaming with joy and holding on to him, and the bottom of the slide came up, and they tumbled out onto the wood chips in a pile, and Maxime lay there on his side for a second in total confusion. Then he got up. He did his full body shake, the one that started at his nose and ended at his tail. And then, because he could not help it, he ran back to the steps. They slid down 4 more times. Each time a different kid held him. Each time Mama June and Mama Rose laughed so hard from the bench that Mama Rose had to wipe her face. Maxime heard them laughing, and it was the best sound in the world, better than the mailman's voice, better than the food bowl hitting the floor, better than anything. After a while, he got tired. He flopped down in the grass under the tree where his moms were sitting, and the quiet girl with the glasses came over and sat next to him, and she put her hand on his side and just left it there, quiet, the way she always did. "He's a good dog," she said to Mama June. "He's the best dog," said Mama June. Maxime closed his eyes. He thought about the window, and the mailman, and Pickles, and Lady, and the squirrel with the bread, and the cold table at the vet, and his mom's hands on him when he was sick, and the small one screaming on the slide, and the wood chips, and the sun coming through the leaves onto his belly right now. He thought, "I want them to always be happy." He thought, "I will make sure of it." And then, because it was warm, and because he was a little tired, and because his moms were right there, he let himself sleep. Quote of the week: "What wisdom can you find that is greater than kindness?" Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Thank you for listening to Maxime, the neighborhood protector story. Hope you enjoyed this story. If you want to hear more, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. New stories are uploaded every Friday.